Well, I'm delighted to catch up with Chris Allen after another fantastic win here at Nurstead Road. Devizes winning by 6-0. But I've seen a few things in my time in the Western League, Chris, but today's match was played in a storm. That was quite remarkable, wasn't it?
Yeah, obviously, first of all, credit to everybody who's put in the hard yards to get that game on today, because as you can see by the state of the pitch at the end, it was a really difficult one for us to manage our way through. So yeah, we obviously come up and had a look first thing this morning, and it was in pretty good condition, to be honest. But as the day went on and the rain got a little bit worse, it was a little bit hairy scary at times whether it would make it. Luckily we're blessed with a really good pitch that drains really well, and although it was very, very heavy and very difficult conditions, it was the right decision to play the game, because it was perfectly playable, albeit very testing conditions.
It was very testing conditions, and normally when we do these interviews I talk to you about the performance, but on a day like today the performance almost goes out the window, doesn't it? Because any semblance of actually trying to play a tactical game of football, really the elements have sort of got the better of us. So I mean, the fact that we won by 6-0, I mean, what, are you delighted or were you relieved?
Both. I knew it would be a really tricky game. We played Cheddar 3 or 4 weeks ago away at their place and won 4-0, but it was a tricky game, and you've only got to look at their results since that game to know that they've been on a better run of form, and they had a really good win in the week against Wellington. So we were expecting a really difficult game, and the conditions only added to that, if I'm perfectly honest. We know that we've got really good players in the side, so the conditions may have become a bit of a leveler today, because it's really difficult. But we did the basics really well for most of the game, and that's exactly what you've got to do when you play sides towards the bottom of the league, and also when you play teams with these conditions. So generally it's whoever does those things better. I thought both sides tried their hardest, fought out a good game, a good battle, but in the end I think our quality shone through.
And it was one of those games where really you just didn't want to be playing football in your own half, because errors were made today, not because of any sort of personal inadequacy, but simply because the conditions, the wind, the rain, just made it impossible to play any sort of normal game of football. So, I suppose that whatever tactics you may have had going into the game, really it was just a question of making sure that if they had the ball, then they were going to be the ones making the mistakes in their own half.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly what we said. We want to be a side that try and play football, and I said to the lads before the game that the conditions will still allow us to play football, but you have to do it in the right areas. We don't want to be taking chances on the edge of our own box, or doing silly things, or doing things that we wouldn't normally do if the conditions were a lot better today. So we managed that side of it really well. We had a few sloppy moments, but over the course of the game we made a lot fewer mistakes than they did. And when the conditions are like that, that's ultimately what it comes down to. And limit the mistakes you make, and be really ruthless going the other way, and that's exactly what we were.
I guess it would be nice to be able to reflect on a 6-0 win and celebrate that and everything, but it does feel like today we've come through a really stern test. The weather was a test. The 6 goals are great, the clean sheet's great, but perhaps the bit that you're most pleased about is that nobody had an injury, because with the slippery conditions that was always a concern.
Yeah, no injuries, which was good. The pitch was obviously really heavy towards the end, so luckily, because of the scoreline, I was able to make 5 subs and rest people up now for next week, especially a few of the older bodies. It's a really sapping pitch towards the end there. So yeah, good day all round, a good win, a clean sheet, and was able to get everybody on the pitch and get good minutes into the legs of everyone.
We've got 3 away games now coming up, and then we've got Street at home in the Les Phillips Cup on the 10th of December, followed by a Saturday game on the 14th against Bradford Town. So 3 games away from Nurstead Road, but then 2 really big matches at Nurstead Road. Hopefully the supporters won't have to put up with conditions like the ones that we've had here today and Storm Bert has given us, but hopefully there'll be a bumper crowd to roar us on in those 2 matches. Yeah,
lucky. I think it's probably quite lucky that we've got 3 away games now, judging by the state of the pitch at full time there. It will certainly need some work doing on it, and some recovery over the next couple of weeks to get it in a fairly good condition for Street and Bradford in the same week. So yeah, we'll attack 3 away games now. Nothing this midweek coming, but then 3 away games in a week, which will all bring their own challenges, and again against teams towards the bottom of the league, they're really difficult games to manage, I find, especially around the winter period. You've got to go there and be really clinical, and you know that you're not going to get anything for free against those sides, because they're scrapping for their lives to get points on the board to move up the table like we are at the other end.
Absolutely, Chris. Well done for navigating your way through Stormbert, and I'll see you when we're next at home, but up the town.
Cheers. Thanks, Ian.